It's like a regular black market, but with cheese. In this week's episode, we are taking a look at the largest illegal cheese market in the world. A bunch of people selling illegal cheese. What the hell is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Let's take a look at the largest black market in the world, the cheese black market. France has one of the oldest and largest black markets that still operates today. But what exactly are they selling? The main thing being traded on these black markets is cheese. France has one of the longest histories when it comes to cheese making. And because of this, they have very strict laws and regulations about who can make certain kinds of cheese and how it has to be made. The most famous example of this is with roquefort. If you want to make a proper roquefort, you need to use milk from a goat that has been fed on mountains in the south of France. If you want to call your cheese roquefort, then you must follow these rules exactly, or you could face some very harsh fines and even jail time. This is one of the reasons why there is so much fake roquefort out there. People just can't be bothered to go through all of the red tape and just make their own. Sure, it may not taste the same, but who's going to stop them? Not the French police, that's for sure. Roquefort isn't the only cheese that has these kind of rules attached to it. There are many more that follow the same rules, which has created a black market for cheeses that people just want to make and sell without following all of the rules. On top of this, France has also banned the sale of some cheeses from other countries. For example, American cheddar and Swiss Gruyere cannot be sold in France unless it is made in the traditional style of the original European cheese. So people have gotten around this by making their own. In 2016, authorities found out that an Italian man was selling over 440 pounds of fake Parmesan cheese every year in France. He was caught after years of investigation, and he eventually confessed. He said that he would buy his supplies in Italy and then ship it into France where he would sell it. It wasn't just him either. There were actually two separate investigations going on at the same time where two different men were caught selling fake Parmesan cheese in France. It seems like it really was just an epidemic of fake Italian cheeses flooding the French market. Another reason why the French cheese black market is so big is because of the price difference. Cheese is already expensive in France. If you add all of the extra taxes on top of it, it becomes even more expensive. People simply can't afford to buy real cheese anymore, so they're turning to the black market to get a cheaper deal. You might think that there wouldn't be that much of a difference between the fake cheese and the real cheese, but you'd be wrong. It's a huge difference. A pound of real Brie costs around $36, but a pound of fake Brie only costs around $9. That's a pretty big difference, and no wonder people are buying the fake stuff. Now, it's hard to say exactly how much of the cheese sold in France is actually fake, but it is estimated that it could be anywhere from 5 to 10% of the entire cheese market. That's a lot of fake cheese out there. Now, there have been some attempts to try and stop this black market. In 2017, the government did something called an Operation Ham, which was designed to target those who were illegally selling food products. Around 2,800 grocery stores were raided across the country, and over 13 tons of illegal food products were seized. While this operation did shut down a lot of the black market cheese rings, it didn't stop them completely. There are still plenty of people out there selling fake cheese in France, and they don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Not all of the cheese black markets are located in France, though. One of the biggest ones is actually here in the United States. Ever since 2009, Americans haven't been able to buy real camembert. Why? Well, apparently it's because of a fungus. According to the USDA, the risk of introducing a fungus into the United States was too high, and they decided to ban the import of camembert altogether. Okay, if you ask me, I don't see the problem. We already have plenty of disgusting things growing on our own soil. A little fungus from France won't hurt us. Of course, you could say the same thing about cheese. The argument against allowing imports of foreign cheese is that American cheese is better. Okay, I guess. Apparently. After all this, a couple of companies tried to fight back against the USDA. They wanted to continue importing the cheese. Even if it had the fungus in it, they thought that they could remove the fungus before it caused any damage. The USDA disagreed, and they remained adamant about their decision to ban camembert imports. The cheese companies took the USDA to court, and they ended up winning. The court ruled that the USDA had not followed the proper procedure when making their decision, and they forced them to reconsider. The USDA then repeated their risk assessment and once again decided to ban the cheese imports. So the cheese companies took them to court again, and this time they lost. So now Americans can no longer buy real camembert. Instead, they're forced to buy fake camembert. And once again, this has led to a black market for real camembert cheese. One website even allows you to order real camembert from France and ship it straight to your door. But if you do this, you are breaking the law, and you could get in a lot of trouble. Maybe someday the ban will be lifted and we'll all be able to enjoy real French cheese. But until then, we'll just have to settle for the fake stuff. And while it sucks that Americans can't eat real camembert, there is one good thing that has come out of this. Because of the ban, a lot of American cheesemakers have started making their own camembert. And since they can't use the name camembert, they call it camembert. Camembert is starting to become very popular in the United States, and there are plenty of places where you can buy it. So maybe this ban hasn't been all bad after all. Camembert may not be the only cheese that is being sold on the black market either. There are rumors that real cheddar cheese is also being sold on the black market. Of course, it's hard to prove this, and nobody has been caught doing it yet. But if it is happening, it's probably happening in England. England is known for having a lot of rules when it comes to their food. And once again, it's mostly because of tradition. The rules are usually in place to protect the traditions behind the foods. In England, this is taken to a whole another level. The English are absolutely nuts when it comes to protecting their food culture. For example, did you know that it is illegal to serve lemonade in Britain unless it contains at least 51% real lemon juice? That's right. If you're serving lemonade and it doesn't have at least 51% real lemon juice, then you could go to jail for 6 months or pay a fine of up to £2,000. It's no wonder people turn to the black market to sell their fake lemonade. Another example is ketchup. In 2013, Heinz tried to sell their American-style ketchup in Britain. They wanted to call it tomato ketchup so that it wouldn't confuse customers. But the British government said no, they couldn't call it that because it didn't meet the definition of ketchup. They argued that ketchup had to be made from tomatoes and they had to be grown in Britain. Once again, it's all about protecting their traditions. This has led to a massive black market for real American-style ketchup. It's hard to say exactly how big the market is, but it's definitely big enough for Heinz to try and get back into the British ketchup market. They changed their recipe slightly, and now they're allowed to sell their ketchup in Britain. So it seems like the Brits weren't happy with the fake ketchup that they had to settle for. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some of the other weird black markets that exist. If you've watched the channel before, then you know that there are all kinds of black markets out there. In fact, in past videos, we've talked about a black market for babies and a black market for human skin. All right, well, hopefully you learned something in this video. If you want to learn more about black markets, check out the rest of the content. Thanks for watching.